Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to Ask My Ots, where today we're going to challenge you to stop playing
I
and
forgot
start
my
pushing.
coffee.
You forgot your coffee?
Yeah, I'll be
We
right
need
back.
to hurry up. All right, we got to go. I'm going to go ahead and read this question real quick. Actually, I'm not going to read it because my wife, I want her to lead off the answer on this particular question. But let me just rap to y'all for a second. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? We about to head on out. Got some business to take care of. I got a bunch of grays down there. Hurry up, babe. All right, y'all. Yeah, the question that we got in today, actually it wasn't today, it was a couple of weeks ago, is a question from a gentleman, and the question is, hi, my ox. I am extremely sexually frustrated. I've had several discussions trying to explain to my wife how important our intimacy is to the success of our relationship. I have tried to be patient. Make sure you put y'all seatbelts on when y'all are driving. I have tried to be patient, working with her to see if she will come around, but as the days goes on, I feel more and more like she is avoiding me. And when we do have sex,
She probably all up on that
if you can
ass.
even call it that, on those once in a blue moons, it's usually because I am so starved that I just take what I can get, and she just goes through the motions. It feels like it anyway. Am I tripping because I feel like we should be having more sex than every once in a while? How do you get through to a woman who is by no means a stranger to intimacy, but now has no libido or drive and isn't being honest about why? Thanks in advance and much love. So, babe, I said I'm gonna go ahead and let you take the lead on this question because he wants to know how can he get through to his woman, and he's sexually frustrated. You know, this is his wife. He's sexually frustrated. She's no stranger to sex, but now she ain't really trying to give it to him, so he want to know why, and he's not being honest about why she ain't giving it up.
All right. Okay. I'm representing for the sisters today. Where's the thing at? Oh. Go ahead, boo. Drive. All right. Sorry, y'all. Hi. How you doing? Okay. So we taking it to another level. We doing videos in the car. Okay, y'all. So what's the deal? Let me put my makeup on. Okay, so basically, brother, all I can say to you, the first thing that comes to mind for me is seek to understand before you try to, seek to be understood. So you really need to understand what's going on with your wife. And in order to do that, the way you do that is that you ask, and you ask from a genuine place. You ask not from a place of frustration in the moment because have been rejected once again. You don't do it from a place of being critical and saying, how much you're not getting and comparing your relationship or your sex life with what you think other people are having in their own. You really come from a place of just, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and you know, and let me tell you, let me give you some language. So brothers, listen in. Let me give you some language. Um, and I know this may seem counterintuitive. You feel like, because I've said it lots of times. Let me just make it very clear. Sex is a very important part of a relationship, of a marriage. It is very, very, very important, and it is just as critical as healthy communication. It is just as critical as the ability to compromise, as the ability to manage conflict, to make room for each other. It's on the same level. So let me be clear that I don't think that it's not that serious. It is serious. And it does take its toll and have an impact on relationships when it goes missing for a little while. But I also want to let you know that that is also normal. That is also a part of the marital process. That there are times when the relationship is on fire, and there are times when it's missing a bit. It can be because people are
Make it
just.
seem like it's a big ass drought.
Yeah, it might be a big drought, but sometimes now I don't know from your experience, babe. Let me come back over to you. I don't know if you think it's been we've had any. Do you think we've had droughts in our marriage? We've had spaces I know where maybe like
I put
three
it to like
weeks.
this.
3 weeks we've gone away because we've been busy and we've
Yeah.
been moving.
To be honest,
First, define a drought. A
to be
sexual
honest,
drought.
sometimes a drought for a guy could be 2 days.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that, to be honest, for me personally, there have been times where it has felt like a drought, but I know if I rise above my emotions, then and really look at the actual facts of the situation, that It really hasn't been a drought. So no, we have not had a drought in our relationship. But
I got that recorded.
But damn.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. We'll use that in the future.
But that doesn't negate the fact that sometimes it feels like a drought. So even if it hasn't been a drought, when your man has needs, ladies, you need to make sure that you're being mindful of the needs that your man has, because you might, calculate the number of times that you all have done it in the past week, past 2 weeks, and you can say that I've checked off all of my boxes, I've dotted my I's and crossed my T's, and he's been taken care of. But sometimes you need to go above and beyond, because that's what your man needs in the relationship.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about today, though.
Some TLC, some tender loving care. He needs that thing. So
we ain't talking about that today, though.
So just be mindful. Be mindful. No, we're not talking about that.
And the reason, let me say this, the reason we're not talking about it is because, brother, you're the one who wrote in. And if your wife was the one who wrote in and said, my husband is all up on me and he's pressing me out, and my libido's just low, I'm not feeling it, or I got whatever going on, I'm just, a lot of women write in and say, I'm just tired. I'm taking care of the kids. I'm taking care of my job. I'm taking care of the house. I'm in school. You ain't got to be having all of that. You could be single with no kids. Not single. You could be in your marriage with no kids. You're not in school. You're working every day, and you got a lot going on, and so you're feeling the stresses of that. And that takes a toll on for women when we are tired. When we are tired and we have a lot going on, mentally occupying the mind, and physically occupying everything that we have to do, it shows up in our sex life, because we are not as physical as you are. As men, when I get some from my husband, because he's like, babe, come on, and when we do it, and it's wonderful, it's always wonderful. I'm always like, dang, I didn't realize how much I needed that. How much of a release it is.
You said it's what?
It's wonderful.
No, that's not what you said. You said it's always wonderful, right?
Oh, it's always wonderful.
You always enjoy it?
It's a blessing to be sexually in tune. Okay, I know we kind of going off the topic, but me and my husband have always been in tune. We have not always necessarily matched up in terms of the frequency. Like, he wants it more, and I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, I'm going to sleep. But when we get it going, it's on and popping.
And let me just say this, though. Let me just add this
I'm
point.
Sure.
No, because I want to ask something real quick. I think this is very important. You said that she's not being honest about the reason why.
Oh, yeah, he
did say that. Which leads me to believe that you're intuiting that there's something deeper than what she says or what she isn't saying. And so if you're intuiting that there's something deeper, my question to you is, could you be playing a part in the reason why she's not being willing to give it up to you? Is that you have done or have not done sex that you're getting? So again, if you're saying she's not being honest about the reason why, what are some ideas that you might have? And have you put those ideas on the table? And if not, why?
And so this comes back to seeking to understand before you seek to be understood. And so that's what is before you today, is for you to really kind of find a place, whether you're going to take her out to dinner, whether you're going to do it after, I don't know if you have kids, the kids go to bed, and
give them some questions.
Get together and have a conversation where you're really trying to, get in tune with her feelings, how she's feeling. Because when you're genuinely doing that, but you're not coming from a place where you're advocating your point, you're representing why you need it, why y'all need it. Or when you move out of that, out of your own agenda, and you really try to seek to understand the other person, then you open up the room, you open up the space for there to be some true progress that is made. And what I was going to say earlier is that if your wife had written in and she was talking about some stuff, I would say the same thing to her. This is not you bear the brunt of the responsibility kind of issue. It's for both of you, but you're the one who is seeking some help. You're the one that perhaps maybe has a little more insight. Maybe you're the one who is able to kind of, take that first step and initiate a different kind of way of dealing with this situation. And so what we tell people all the time is people get caught up in being in their own corners and in their own agenda, but somebody got to make a move and do something different. Somebody got to shift the atmosphere in your household. So you're the one who's reaching out, so you be the one to take it to another level. So let me end by saying this. The language is important for women. I really want to know how you're feeling. I realize that when I've been coming to you, this is ownership right here. When I've been coming to you and coming at you, I haven't always been very sensitive. I realize that sometimes, and maybe all the time, maybe most of the time, I'm really trying to get to what it is I think should happen or what it is I feel I need, and I really haven't stopped to ask you what you need. Or I realize that when I'm asking you what's going on or what you need or what's going on with you, it's in a very unsafe kind of a place. Maybe you wouldn't say the word unsafe, but I'm coming at you with energy that's kind of elevated or critical or whatever, so you wouldn't probably be comfortable with sharing with me. So ownership is important. Ownership of the way that you have handled the situation up until now in terms of trying to find out what's going on or in terms of venting your frustration. Owning that and apologizing for that is important. And then saying, I really just want to understand where you are. I really just want to know what's going on with you because I don't want to be a hindrance. I want to just, and it's not even, and you know what, brothers, it's lovely when you say this. Right now, it's not about sex. It's not about seeing how I can get you to come up on, how many times we do it every week. Right now, it's about you, babe. I want to make sure you're all right because I can feel a little disconnect, and it's not even really about the sex. That's what you need to say. So follow up with us. Let us know how it goes. Recognize that you have a huge amount of power to shift the atmosphere. I hope you're successful. You can be. But the only way you're going to do it is if you... What do you got to do? What do you got to do?
Stop playing and start pushing.